All right, looks like we're live. Everything should be set up for the most part. You guys can see my new loading animation there. Pretty fancy. I really like it. It's got a really cool look to it. Anyway, I'm just gonna get the rest of the stuff set up, and then we'll be able to start. I'm really excited because I got Blender 2.92 like 3 days ago, and it's really fun. Let's see here. All right. I'm just gonna get started, and whoever shows up will show up. So I'll start just creating regular new project. Um, you know what? We're gonna be kind today. We're not gonna delete the default cube. So let's go into edit mode so we can scale it without messing up the vertices and all that fancy stuff. So I'll just do 10. Very big. Gonna get some. Actually, no, never mind. Let's just go back to do that. So this is 2 times, I think. Yeah, this is gonna be 2 times scale. So now that we have that, we're gonna go and add in a UV sphere, and this is gonna act as our fluid emitter. So we'll go 0.5 on that scale. Oop, lost it. Move that up to the top of the cube. The cube is gonna be our domain. So when all is done, the cube is the domain. So let's see. Oh, wait, I never turned off the loading thing. That's the same problem I did before. All right, there we go. Now the loading symbol is off. All right, so we have our cube and our UV sphere. So I'm gonna mark these domain and emitter. This will just make it easier for me to be able to tell them apart. We're gonna go over here to the physics tab and go fluid. And for the cube, with the cube selected, we want to click domain. Now you can see it's transparent. It's not going to be transparent for long. We're going to have to switch to wireframe mode. But we have our domain here. Now we're going to take our UV sphere, shade smooth it for no apparent reason, and fluid, and go flow. So now we have an emitter. And you can see right here, if you look over on the side, that it says smoke. We want to change smoke to liquid. So that'll give us a fluid simulation. We also want to change geometry to inflow. That way it gives us a continuous stream of water instead of just giving us, well, the geometry of the sphere. It'll only drop 1 sphere's worth of water. That would be if you're doing accurate physics, which we're not. So, that should be it, just for a basic fluid simulation. I'm actually going to shrink this a little bit more. Move it up. So now we have that, and then our domain is also gas. So you're going to want to change that. So liquid. There we go. Now you can't see through it. We're going to have to go into wireframe mode. And there you go. So 32 divisions is fine for right now. We're probably going to up that to 64 by the end. Flip fluids, that's all good. Pretty much we just want to check mesh. That way we get that. And then go type replay. We want to change that to modular so that we can manually bake everything. And 250, yeah, okay, that's fine. And bake data. And while that's baking, we just kind of wait. All right. So now you can see that these blue particles here showed up. This is our water. So if I click space to play the animation, you can see the waterfalls and we have our fluid simulation. Pretty fancy. And let's see how much it fills up. Okay, so it fills up about halfway. That's good. Um, okay, let's see. So now that we have our particle data, we want to go down to our mesh tab, and we're actually going to turn all of this particle data into a mesh. And so, oh wait, hang on a second. I forget to free this real quick. Yeah, okay, so I forgot to do this. This is new to 2.92. You have to click is resumable. I don't know why you have to click that, like why it's mandatory, but basically I can't bake a mesh unless I can pause and resume it. So let's bake the data again. It's going to give us the same basic animation, so it's not a problem. But might as well. Okay, so checking, yeah, so it's got actually a lot of movement going. That's nice. Sometimes there'll just be like flat sheets of water that just kind of continuously go up, and it's really, really kind of boring. Okay, so let's bake the mesh. This one's going to be slightly slower than our particle bake, just because it's making so much more geometry, but it'll be fine. 60%. Anyway, how's everyone's day going? We're waiting for stuff. Right. Solid. So now you can see our domain has disappeared, or it looks like, and that is because now this mesh is our domain. So it's now like an adaptive domain, basically. And so if we click play, you can see, there we go. It still follows the same cube shape, but now we have a mesh. Pretty fancy. We're gonna take away the emitter because we don't need it. And then here you can see right now it looks like water, right? You got all the smooth, all that stuff. If we shade smooth it, it looks even more like water, right? This is a nice fluid simulation. But we want to make a Lego fluid simulation. So for that, let's find a good frame where there's a little bit of, differences so we can see the effect. And then we're going to go over here to the modifier tab. And you can see right now we have particle system and fluid. That's just naturally what happens when you build a fluid simulation. Just going to go add modifier, remesh. This is important. This is what's going to actually, if you click on this, see right now it's voxel, and so that's our edges and stuff. If you go sharp, then it's sharper. There's not as many subdivisions. And then if we go smooth, you could see it kind of smooths everything out. But what we want is blocks. So now, kind of see, it already looks a little bit like, it's got the blocky effect, right? Which is important. But you can also see, like, what the heck is this? We got only this many pixels making up our emitter. Well, we don't want that. So we're gonna, this octree depth right here, we want to increase that. And you can see, we increase it now and we have a few more pixels. 6 is usually pretty good. I say I used 7. Yeah, I used 7 on my other one. And now this gets very slow. Basically, you only want to increase this right before you actually do your render. Otherwise, you can see it gets pretty slow. And of course, if you have a better machine, it won't get as slow. But yeah. So now, I just had the coolest idea. What if, because this is kind of boring, right? It always stays the same. So what if, and Ivan, I know you're looking to see how we do the Lego effect from here on out and probably the texturing as well. But what if we take our fluid simulation, free the data, and we make, what's happening? Oh wait, we gotta, no? Why can't I see through it? Oh, I didn't show my meter. Okay, why can't I see through my cube? Oh, because it's got the remesh on. Okay, so I'm gonna delete the remesh right now so we can. I want to start this over here and start in this corner. Go Z view so I can see it easier. I want to make this go around the circle. I think that would look pretty cool. So got 250 animations. 250 divided by 4. You know, let's just make this 300 frames. That way we can evenly divide it by 4. So then at frame 75, it's going to be in the other corner. And at frame 150, it'll be in this corner. And at frame, what would be next? 225? Yeah, 225, it'll be in this corner. And then by frame 300, it's going to return to its location. This will just give us a little bit more variation in the fluid simulation. It'll kind of look nice. So now you can see this is, I keyframe this. So now it kind of moves around. So it's going to be dropping water, and this will give us a little bit more difference in what the water does. Anyway, let's go back to frame 0. Go back to our fluid simulation and the domain. I'm going to turn this up to 64. And because I didn't turn it into Legos yet, you guys didn't see why. But basically, when it's 32, then the height of each of your Lego layers is like super tall. And so like your waves will be particles of like 6 Legos tall. Whereas if it's 64, they'll only be 3, and it kind of looks like it spreads out more. It gets flatter. So we got 64. We got to go down here and change our N to 300 so it goes all the way. And then let's bake our data. It's going to be a little bit slower this time, just because it's 64. But yeah. So we'll wait for that. It'll take a while. So Ivan, are you just a fan of C. Bailey and that's why you're part of the Discord, or do you make your own stuff? I haven't really looked through the show and tell tab, or page, so I don't really know who makes what and all that. Cool. So what kind of stuff do you make? Like my animations are kind of all over the place. You know, some natural environments, some CGI stuff. What do you mainly do? Okay, 75% on the render or the bake. Environments. Yeah, I want to learn how to make good environments. Because environments really cool stuff if you know how to do environments. Especially like, you know, varying kinds of environments. You know, like for CGI stuff, you know, cities are nice if you know how to make cities. I know how to make tiny things. Once you get like big, huge, like scale wise stuff, like forests and cities and all that, I get lost. And let's make the mission. It's going to be even longer, maybe the same. I don't know. You buy it was like a master class or something. I guess I don't know. I always just try and learn from like free tutorials, and that gets me somewhere, but pretty much nowhere. So or I guess what course was it? Like look into that. So that'd be really interesting to learn, because like the Quonset hut one that I just posted, I tried to make an environment. Voice glue. Okay, let me check my OBS thing and make sure it might be on my end. Let me check my statistics and all that. Okay. How do I change that? Because that could be a problem. Oh boy. Oh, it's good now? All right. I just had to change the, in OBS, I had to change my settings. It might glitch out again because the bit rate was varying and all that. I don't know. Might just be my connection. My connection's spotty all day. Anyways, I don't know if you heard it because of the bugs, but I was wondering what course it was that you got. You know, with my Quonset hut one, I tried to make an environment. I think it looked pretty good, but like it's a small scale. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've seen some of his stuff before. He makes really, really cool stuff. I'm gonna have to look at that. I kind of want to learn how to do environments. Anyway, it looks like our fluid bake is done. Yeah, so see, now we have this cool effect where there's a lot more geometry happening. There's more waves. Let's go this. Yeah, and it just kind of gives it more, action to it. We gotta figure out why that's happening. Why is it? My voice is glitching. Oh man. Could it be? The problem is I've already started the stream thing, so like I don't know how to try and fix that audio. Here. Do here. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that so that okay, wait, oh here we go. Okay. So that should work. Let me check YouTube and make sure it says everything is functioning. Okay, so it went up a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's good. All right, I changed the bitrate from 2500 to 4500, which is what YouTube recommends. So if it cuts out again, just tell me, because it might. I don't know exactly how everything worked. But you can see here now that we have, if we go down, we could see the height of our layers are much thinner. So you got actually a little bit more detail in there. So that's why we did the 64 thing. All right, so let's go back and we'll do our remesh thing. Remesh to blocks. It's really funny because of the small scale of it. It's not gonna like show a whole bunch. So that's why we have to go smaller. Okay, so 7 is going to be our final render Textured view. Oh boy, that's bright. Rendered view. Yeah, so that looks nice. So 7 is going to be our final, but we're going to do everything in 6, I think. Oh, that is slow. 3 frames per second. Yeah, that's on my end. That's not the stream. Okay. Well, we got a lot more variance in that. That's nice. Maybe we'll do 5. We'll work in 5. Okay, so that's workable. Okay, so basically what we want to do now is, now that we have our blocks, we want to forget about this, right? It's gone. We're going to want to add in a cube. And I know most Lego bricks, let me get done with the cube and then, or the Lego, and then I'll tell you about my PC. So let's see here. So we have this is going to be our Lego brick. And I'm not going to indent the bottom and all that. That's just extra geometry. Nobody's going to see it. So we want to go into face mode and take this top face and inset it a little bit. And this face, only this face, we're going to subdivide about 3 times. And then we want to right click Loop Tools, which is an add-on. Go Edit, Preferences, and then search in Loop Tools, and then just enable that. And then so basically I right click Loop Tools and go Circle, and now you can see it kind of took those faces and remeshed them into a circle. So we take this face and we'll go X view so we can see, and then we'll just do it like that. That's a good Lego, I think. I don't know, kind of looks like a Lego. Tab, shade smooth. It's all wonky right now, so we're going to go under the object data, and normal's auto smooth. So now it looks nice. And the nice thing is we don't actually have to texture this at all. No, edit. Bring back our domain. It's huge. And we're just going to scoot this off to the side. Move the domain up a little bit. I thought I broke it there for a second because I've never moved a domain before. Right. So now that we have that, now we're going to go over here to the object properties, and with our domain or our water simulation selected, we're just going to go instancing. We're going to go faces, and then we're going to right click, or we're going to click on our Lego, shift, click on our domain, and then Control P, parent object, and now you can see this horrible monstrosity. And this is clearly a problem. So what we need to do is take our main one right here and scale it down. And once we scale it down, we'll move the light over too, because this is the one we're actually going to be working with. Now you can see we have Legos. So let's just scale this up until they tiny Legos. Okay, so you have this. Now, the confusing thing here is this didn't happen the last time I did it, where you have Legos going on all sides. Is it vertices? Oh yeah, okay, never mind, not faces. Don't click faces, click vertices. There we go. And now you can see when we hit space, because this is instancing live, it'll edit with our domain over here. Okay, so then this, can we hide this? No, we can't hide it. I think the main cube goes away when you render. It won't show the instance parent. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so PC specs, let's see here. I actually have a really good PC for office work. It's got 64 gigs of RAM, and 8 gigs of GPU, I think. I have a, what is it, NVIDIA GTX. It is a GTX. I kind of wanted an RTX, but they were much more expensive if you got a computer with an RTX. What was it that I had? 1660 Ti. I want to say it's an NVIDIA GTX 1660 Ti. Anyway, it's pretty good. It's not the fastest ever, but you know, it's really good for baseline computer. Anyway, so now we have our ocean right here. And then you can see also if we do this and then go do the final render, right, when we bump this up to 7, you see if we head on over to here, now we have a problem because they're all intersecting with each other. So then we just take this and just like we did before, just scale it down a bunch. Not until there's space in between them, but just until they match up. Now you can see we got ourselves a really nice little Lego ocean. Now comes the hard part. And the reason I say this is hard is just because it's really hard to get a good result with it. So basically what we do, we take this and we go into the shader editor. And what we want to do is basically object. So we want our object info right here. And so we're going to go mapping and our location to our vector. And then we're going to need a gradient texture. So I'm just going to keep this kind of black and white. Right now you can see it shades some of it, but not all. That's because we haven't hooked up vector yet. And now you can see it's all dark. Basically what we want to do is say, it's one of these rotations. Okay, so that, okay, it's not that one. This is the hard thing, is that like some of them won't do anything, but others will. Is it Z? What was it? So it must be Y. One of these you switch to 90 degrees, and then I fiddled for this for like an hour trying to figure out. Oh, weird. Doesn't do anything. Does absolutely nothing. You know, I'm gonna actually open up. I'm gonna save this. Fluid Lego Fluid 2. That's all right. Yeah, that's saved. I'm gonna actually open up my other one because I forget what it was. That I did the last one. Where is it? You guys can't see the file view thing, but I'm looking through all this stuff. Lipid thing, multiversal transfusion. That was a fun one. Where is it? Can I just search Lego? No, that didn't do anything. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna open this one up. Okay, so you guys can see that now. Okay, so this is my old domain. Um, I don't know. Why is it broken? What happened over here? What did you do? I leave for 1 second and you're just gone. Well, that doesn't matter because we don't need the fluid simulation. We need the shading. Oh, come on. I know you're shaded. What happened here? The entire thing just reset. Look, I can see your textures. Don't try and tell me that you're not shaded. This is, okay. What did I do? Oh, okay. So that's where I'm messing up. So, yeah, I forgot exactly what I did. So let's I do this. So I only have that open. I need that. Let's open up. Open recent. Don't save. Okay, so we were texturing the domain. We don't want that. So delete that, delete that, delete that. We don't want that. We want the cube itself. That's what I was messing up on. So basically, here we go. Our object info to our mapping. Texturing is always the tough thing for me. Like trying to figure out all of the nodes and stuff. I've been working with this for like a year. And I still can't figure it out sometimes. Gradient texture, go vector, vector, color to color, and location to location. So now should be working in theory. Maybe not. Oh, okay. It was working in here, but it won't work in shader editor. Perfect. It's not perfect. Let's go down because now we need the shader editor open. Okay. So now we can see it's perfectly balanced between black and white. You make like a Unisonus water simulation. Be kind of fun. But we're going to want, yeah, okay. So change this to 90. And now you can see it's kind of like a height thing. And if we move our one of these should move it. Yeah, okay. So you can now see if we move our X up and down, it'll shade it based on height. So basically, let's go to about here. And then we're just going to add in a color ramp right in here. And then you see it'll go more like that. Let's make this the darkest blue. Very dark blue. Bottom of the ocean. And we're just going to add in a bunch of these. You are going to be a lighter blue. And you will be progressively lighter. Got that. Maybe do a little bit of something turquoisey, but also lighter. And finally, the lightest it can be, just like that. So now you can see we have our pit of the ocean black and our gradient, which is kind of rough around here and gets smoother and smoother. Well, obviously, this isn't what we're looking for. We're going to need to go cube. We're going to need to switch these up a bit. So go maybe like this. Okay. So the problem is, I'm going to move this down a bunch. Yeah, there we go. See, now we have water. And the higher it goes, the lighter the color. So let's start here. This is a good spot to start it too. Then we'll turn this down a bit, turn that down a bit, turn it all down a bit. Kind of getting the hang of it, Ivan. I don't know if you're making this live or if you're just watching this and then going to replicate it later. The second option is probably the better one. But here we have now our water. And you can see if we start at 0, 0. Wait a second. Okay. Yeah, you can see if we start here, then kind of splashes out. And the higher it goes, the lighter the color. Kind of move around and switch colors and all that fancy stuff. And then basically, the more water comes in here, we just move this X value down and keyframe it. And that's how we get the rising water. So for me, it's like every 100 frames or something. And you just go 0 or 1, and then keyframe X, and you'll go 100 frames. And it's pretty much always going to act the same. So you just kind of, you know, move it up until it looks about right. You know, that looks, let's do like this. That looks fine. And then we'll go to the 200 mark. And obviously by now this isn't going to work. So now what about 1? 1 looks good. So then basically I'm just going down like 0.5 each 100 keyframes. So then 300 by 300 will go down to probably 0.5. Kind of rose a little bit fast. We'll go 0.6. So now, if we watch this back, it probably won't let us because it's too slow. Now you can see, starts out really black with the higher. Can we watch it in real time? Yeah, it's just really super slow. You get like 1 frame per second max. I'll pause it so I can zoom in. But then, so yeah, occasionally you'll see the jumps as the texture updates, and it just gets progressively higher and higher and higher, so that you never have too much white foam, but you also don't have like a single colored fluid simulation. You kind of understanding it? I'm gonna stop this, it's really slow. Anyway, so then we just take our camera and then just go camera to view, and we'll just kind of make it, take it to a spot where it looks nice. I'm thinking, what if we animate the camera on this one? We'll start off like here, and then camera position here, and then by like frame 100 or something. it's then gone on down to where you can actually see it. Oops, messed that up. Frame 100 goes to where you can actually see it. It's about right there. And then let's see here, we got 200 frames left, so that's every 50. I'm just gonna make it kind of rotate around the simulation. So let's see, 1 to 150 by 150. Just kind of come around to right here or so. You zoomed out a little bit. And then by 200, it's kind of done like this. Come up a little bit so you don't see as much of the black. And animate that. 250. It's gonna come around. Oh my god. I'm gonna go answer the door. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That always happens whenever my sister comes home. She rings the doorbell like a bajillion times. Anyway, we were animating this. Move it over so it's centered. Keyframe that. And then we'll go to frame 300. By the final animation, it's come up to here. Oops. And then take that off. And hopefully, if we go object, we can kind of watch it play. See? No, it's still super slow. But you get the gist. It goes down and focuses on the water, and then it'll kind of rotate around it. So now that we have our camera in place, that's it. We have our model, we have our fluid simulation, and we have our camera animated. So now I just want to find a nice frame. I don't know, maybe 125, that works. And then we'll go into rendered view and see if our lighting looks nice. That's not where I put the camera. Okay, so it goes to here. And then how? Oh, yeah, okay, that's kind of a problem. I didn't animate the rotation. No, that's not right. Frame 100. Get it out of rendered view. If I frame 100, it does like this. And then 150, we're gonna have to do this over again because I forgot to do rotation. Where is it? It's gone. What the heck? Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, we're just gonna uncheck that. Yeah, that's a problem. What does it even do? It just kind of goes. way far out. Okay. Let's just redo the keyframing on the camera. And let's make sure that our center of focus is on our water so that we can get like the full range around the water. Yeah. I'll go here, lock camera to view. And by 150, it's on this side. Lined up with the y-axis. Kind of zoomed out a bit though. No. Oh my gosh, I did that in the wrong frame. Okay, let's do it all over again. So we get this in view. Go down. Zoom in a bit. Perfect. Now, location and rotation. Let me readjust the focus so it's on the water. All right, that's good. And then camera. So I went to go look up and see if, because it seems like every time that I go into the camera, it like refocuses where it's gonna kind of focus on. So lock camera to view. Let's see, by 200, it's on this side. See, now it's super slow again. Here. 250. Oh boy. Hang on a second. Which side are we on? Yeah, okay. So that's accurate. That's actually not bad. Just kind of had to rotate this one a little bit, and then, you know, we still have to move it. Kind of so slow. Keyframe that, and then by 300. We're back here. And keyframe that. Now, hopefully, this has worked. And it looks like it has, for the most part. Let's get this out of wireframe, probably. Maybe shader. Yeah, okay, you know, I give up on the camera motion. It'll track it as it will. Unless I can make it always point to the center. Probably do that. Actually, no, because this is just an instance. Okay, well, basically, that's how you make the ocean. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna render this. And then, yeah. I'll probably post it tomorrow or something. All right, well, I hope that was helpful, Ivan. I see you said that it did. You do kind of understand what was happening. Yeah. All right. I should experiment with making like Lego landscapes and stuff, because if it's just the remesh modifier, you could technically make anything out of Legos. I'm gonna have to experiment with that. Lego smoke simulations too? Actually, no, wait, those don't have mesh. Unless they do, because I have 2.92. Didn't they update it so that you can do mesh smoke systems? I'll have to look into all that. But I'm gonna end the stream for right now, and then go and render this off camera. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad it was helpful. Normally, whenever I go through everything, I'm like struggling because I've never done it before. And so it's just kind of, it's as rough for the viewers as it is for me. But yeah, I like doing tutorials after I've made it. Kind of just go through the process. Anyway, goodbye.